Alright, to solve this rational equation, the first thing that we need to do is to identify the least common denominator. To do that, we take our denominators and we factor them as much as possible. And that's what I've done here. The only denominator that factors is this 3x plus 3 on the right hand side of the equation. Then to identify my LCD, identify my unique factors here. My unique factors are a 2, a 3, and an x plus 1, which could be easily be simplified into 6x plus 1. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply each term in this equation by this LCD. Now when I multiply each term by this least common denominator, as I do the multiplication, I cancel factors that I'm multiplying with by things in the denominator. So in this case, the x plus 1 and the x plus 1 cancel. Also, this I can cancel the common factor of 2 between the 2 and the 6 to get a 3 up here. And then in this last term, the x plus 1's cancel, and the common factor of 3 cancels. Alright, and we choose the least common denominator because it's a multiple of each of these denominators and therefore completely cancels each of the denominators. And I just want to highlight that. Everything in the denominators of our original equation have been canceled, and so we no longer have fractions. I'll multiply these terms out. So the 6 times the 4 in this first term are left, so I get a 24 from that. And then I get this negative 3 times x plus 1. And then on the right hand side of the equation, I'm left with a, it looks just 2 times 2 for a 4. And then this equation here now has exactly the same solutions as the original equation, outside of excluded values that we'll talk about in a second. But all I need to do is just solve this equation now. So distribute this negative 3 through. Simplify the left hand side, the 24 and the 3 give me a 21 minus 3x. Subtract 21 from both sides and get negative 17, and then divide everything by negative 3 to get x equals 17 thirds. The negatives cancel from the negative 17 and the negative 3. This is my possible solution. For all rational equations, you need to make sure that the solution that you have is not an excluded value. Excluded values are values that we can't plug into the original equation. A quick checkup here. The excluded values are the values for x that make the denominators 0. So in this case, we'd need to check these two denominators, set them equal to 0 to find out which values of x make them 0. Because those are values that we can't have as solutions. They can't be plugged into the equation. In this case, the only excluded value is negative 1. Because negative 1 in both the cases, in both the denominators, makes those denominators 0. So that checks out. We can't use negative 1, but we didn't get negative 1 as a solution. We got 17 thirds.